Chapter 11 If I kill someone, no one can save me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. One day later, Luocheng, Yanke Tower. Have you found out clearly that little girl Xianxia is really missing? That a handsome young man with a feather fan and silk scarf squinted his eyes and looked at the guard who was kneeling to report. This man had a handsome appearance, eyes like stars, and was extremely handsome. Unfortunately, the lustful look in his eyes completely destroyed his sonorous temperament. The guard did not dare to raise his head and hurriedly reported back respectfully, "The Chen family has blocked the news, so the specific situation cannot be known, but Chen He, the son of the great elder Chen Qi, was killed. This cannot be false. Chen Xiaoqian should have used her father's trump card to kill and then escaped. Really? It's such a pity." Lin Yuhan, the young master of the Lin family in Luocheng, slapped his feather fan and sighed with regret. Chen Xiaoqian is the most beautiful woman in Luocheng. I still thought that a hero would save the beauty and save her from the sea of misery. Then I kissed her, but unexpectedly she escaped. What a pity, what a pity. The guard's mouth twitched, but he didn't dare to say another word, because a woman like Chen Xiaoqian would be unwise to offend the Li family in Taicheng. Chen Xiaoqian's escape is actually a good thing. Master, at this time, a young man dressed as a servant came over with a flattering smile, pointed out the window and said, "Do you think that's that good-for-nothing Han Yang?" Lin Yuhan was stunned for a moment, then suddenly closed his fan and stood up, looking out the window. Oh, it's really Han Yang. Everyone in the Chen family is looking for him. How come he still dares to show up? He just doesn't know how to live or die. Lin Yuhan rolled his eyes, and with a group of thugs and guards, he went downstairs in a hurry to intercept Han Yang. On the street in front of Yanke Tower, there was Han Yang dressed in white. After finishing training in the monster forest, the first thing he had to do was return to Luo City and defeat the Chen family. If it hadn't been for the shamelessness of the first elder and those who forced Xiao Qian to remarry, the two of them would not have had to flee, and Xiao Qian would not have been taken away by Ji Feihua of Xiandao Palace. Find a revenge and must avenge it. Stop. Han Yang, you are such a loser. How dare you go back to Luo City after kidnapping the eldest lady of the Chen family? Well, where is Chen Xiaoqian? A figure stopped in front of Han Yang. Han Yang recognized this man as Lin Yuhan, a direct descendant of the Lin family in Luocheng. In terms of strength, the Lin family is still above the Chen family. If it weren't for Chen Xiaoqian's father, the head of the Chen family was powerful and intimidating to all parties. The Chen family might have been annexed by the Lin family. Step aside. At this time, Han Yang's heart was boiling with murderous intent, and he disdained to be entangled with a playboy like Lin Yuhan, but he wanted to leave, but Lin Yuhan refused to let him go. Boy! If Chen Xiaoqian hadn't protected you, do you think you, a loser, could have survived to this day? Now that both of you have become a lost dog, let me see who can still protect you. Lin Yuhan pointed his chin at Han Yang, his eyes filled with gloating. Such an incompetent person picked the most beautiful flower in their Luo city, and he had long been unhappy with Han Yang. Come on, cripple his hands and feet. After torture to find out Chen Xiaoqian's whereabouts, send him to the Chen family. Lin Yuhan waved his hand, and 4 dog-legged boys immediately gathered around him, eager to fight. Han, if you offend our young master, you will be in trouble. Climb for me, maybe the young master will let you go, ha 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 ha. Several boys laughed unbridledly. The head of the Chen family has disappeared, and the status of the Chen family in Luo City has plummeted, not to mention Han Yang, an unpopular son-in-law. They don't take Han Yang seriously at all. Boom. But at this moment, they suddenly heard a thunder in their ears. The next moment, a lightning-like figure flashed past. You, Lin Yuhan, who was proudly watching the dog-legged man punish Han Yang, frowned when he found that Han Yang actually rushed towards him. Boy, are you looking for death? I will personally send you on your way. With full malice, Lin Yuhan slammed forward the feather fan in his hand, his face full of ferocity. The second level of bone forging can kill a piece of trash without even one move. Lin Yuhan didn't even plan to deal with Han Yang personally, only, click. The sound of bones breaking was heard. The iron-winged eagle feather fan in Lin Yuhan's hand, as well as his fists and upper arms were all shattered by Han Yang's powerful and heavy punch. Things happened too fast. Until this moment, the 4 guards around Lin Yuheng still failed to react. Lin Yuheng's eyes were splitting, his face was twisted, and he was almost suffocating in pain. Master! Protect the young master! That the 4 guards woke up after hearing Lin Yuheng's painful wails. They all pulled out their weapons and attacked Han Yang. Lord Chicken and Dog. Han Yang's eyes were cold, and his figure was like a ghost, quickly moving between a group of opponents. Click, puff. Bang! In an instant, the 4 guards with second-level bone forging had their necks broken by Han Yang, and their weapons fell to the ground. Deathly silence. The boys around Lin Yuheng were so frightened that their whole bodies were shaking and their faces were pale. They all thought that Han Yang was a loser whose dantian had been destroyed. Unexpectedly, Han Yang was so strong now. 1 move will destroy the second level. 2 moves, kill 4 people. The Lin family's bone-forging warriors were like chickens and dogs in Han Yang's hands. Han Yang! If you dare to cut off my hand, you are dead. Our Lin family will never let you go. Lin Yuheng held his broken arm and threatened viciously. Oh! Han Yang's figure flashed. No one saw his movements clearly. He had already arrived in front of Lin Yuheng. You, what are you going to do? Lin Yuheng staggered back, his voice trembling, and his eyes full of horror. He couldn't believe that Han Yang, a loser, dared to touch him, the direct son of the Lin family. After cutting off his hand, isn't Han Yang afraid of being hunted down by the Lin family? Since the Lin family will definitely not let me go, do I still have to be polite? If I don't destroy this scum like you, how can you make me feel bad? 9 Reincarnations, a mere bone-forging realm, in Han Yang's eyes are like ants, they can be easily crushed to death. I didn't expect to see such excitement when I went out early in the morning. Brother Han, you have become much stronger now. Just then, a woman who could make men sway with just her voice appeared not far from the 2 of them, wearing a flirtatious red dress. She is as charming as a blooming rose, thin red lips, like flames, make men dream. Nan Lingxue. Help me. This loser is crazy. He wants to kill me. Let your guards kill him. That when he saw the person coming, Lin Yuheng seemed to have found a backbone and shouted heartbreakingly, Nan Lingxue is the daughter of Nan Jun, the lord of Luo City, and the 2 guards around her are both at the 4th level of bone forging. Nan Lingxue glanced at Lin Yuheng with disgust and said to Han Yang with a smile, Brother Han, although I am very tired of this guy, he is the legitimate son of the Lin family after all. Please give me face and let him go. Nan Lingxue and Chen Xiaoqian are friends. They have met several times before, and their relationship is not bad. But, at this time, Han Yang was no longer the useless Han Yang. The power of the god of war cannot be violated. Especially when this guy was involved with Chen Xiaoqian. Han Yang's voice was cold and his eyes were like daggers. No one can save the people I want to kill. Chapter 12 Fight against the Chen family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nan Lingxue's charming face was full of surprise. She never expected that Han Yang would say such domineering words. She thought she knew Han Yang, Chen's ancestral son-in-law and Chen Xiaoqian's husband quite well. This person was very kind to Chen Xiaoqian and made Chen Xiaoqian fall in love with her. Even Nan Lingxue had some jealous thoughts and called Han Yang brother Han as a joke, but Han Yang's temperament is peaceful and indifferent, and he is not moved by external things. When did you start becoming so domineering? Brother Han, the Lin family. Boom. Nan Lingxue came back to her senses and wanted to say a few words of persuasion when she heard a muffled sound and Lin Yuheng, who was held in Han Yang's hand, flew backwards. The person is not dead, but his energy has been completely dispersed. Lin Yuheng, the legitimate son of the Lin family, was deposed. Lin Yuheng's face was distorted, he curled up and rolled twice, and then fainted. The gangsters around him all had their mouths wide open, their eyes full of horror. This loser, actually, crippled their young master. Just to give you face, I won't kill him. Han Yang spoke calmly and walked forward slowly. Nan Lingxue's bright red lips opened, and then she stamped her jade feet fiercely. Han Yang, stop. Is this called looking at one's own face? It would be better to kill him than to cripple him. Isn't this just waiting for the Lin family to take revenge? Han Yang stopped, narrowed his eyes slightly, and looked at Nan Lingxue expressionlessly. The latter was full of words, but was stunned by this look and swallowed all the words in his stomach. Her plump chest rose and fell several times before Nan Lingxue lost her temper and said, Xianxia has already run away, why are you coming back? The Chen family can't spare you. Blood debts must be repaid with blood. The Chen family forced Xiao Qian to leave. It's time to repay the debt. After saying that, Han Yang ignored Nan Lingxue and walked towards Chen's house. Han Yang, you are crazy. How dare you go to the Chen family? Nan Lingxue was almost pissed off by this pimple. The second elder and third elder of the Chen family are both at the 4th level of bone forging, and the eldest elder Chen Qi is even more powerful at the 5th level of bone forging. Not to mention Han Yang, even if she brought 2 guards with her, she couldn't get any favors from her. Unfortunately, she couldn't stop Han Yang at all. Han Yang, whose skill has greatly improved, seems to be stepping on auspicious clouds with his steps. He seems to be slow, but he is moving forward step by step. After just a few moves, he disappeared in front of Nan Lingxue. Why are you two just standing there stupidly? Help me stop him. Nan Lingxue shouted anxiously at the 2 guards beside her. The 2 guards looked at each other, and one of them jumped up and galloped away. The main entrance of Chen's house, the 2 Chen family warriors guarded the door with solemn expressions, not allowing anyone to approach. Having the good-for-nothing Han Yang knock on the door and take away Chen Xiaoqian was a great shame and humiliation for the entire Chen family. In the past 7 days, the Chen family was on standby. Mobilized all their connections, and began to search for information about the 2 of them. Even the gatekeepers were replaced by elite members of the family, but Han Yang and Chen Xiaoqian seemed to disappear out of thin air, without a trace. This made the atmosphere in the entire Chen family very tense. The great elder Chen Qi was so angry that he killed several of the guards who made mistakes. Such a solemn atmosphere made everyone in the Chen family deeply resentful of Han Yang, a useless son-in-law who was ignorant of current affairs. Brother Hui, look at that person, is it Han Yang? One of the direct lineage warriors of the Chen family looked at the white-clothed figure walking from the alley and rubbed his eyes. He thought he was dazzled. Chen Hui looked in the direction pointed by Qin Yuan and his eyes widened suddenly. It's really Han Yang, so brave, he actually dares to come back. He didn't expect Han Yang to be so desperate for death, but murderous intent boiled in his heart. He rushed out in a few steps and grabbed Han Yang's neck with one claw. Qin Yuan also cursed angrily at the side. Young Master Liang likes your wife. That's your blessing. You don't know what's good and what's good. Before he finished his sentence, he saw Han Yang taking a leisurely step forward and swinging his left hand forward. Boom. Chen Hui, who was at the 3rd level of bone forging, was like a doll and was directly knocked away by a palm, and Han Yang has already stepped towards the door of the Chen family. Seeing this scene, veins popped up on Qin Yuan's face. He held the handle of the knife with his right hand and was about to draw out the long knife from his waist. Without stopping, Han Yang flicked the index finger of his right hand and flicked back the 3-inch long knife. At the same time, his shoulder hit Qin Yuan hard on the chest. Boom. Qin Yuan directly hit the red-painted door behind him, knocking the thick door into pieces. It wasn't until he fell on his back that Qin Yuan's eyes showed disbelief. Han Yang had obviously been seriously injured by the second elder. How could he still be so strong? At this time, Han Yang had already stepped into the Chen family, defeat Chen Hui and kill Qin Yuan. During the 4 steps, Han Yang did not stop, and a mere 2 3rd-level bone forgings could not stop his pace. Chen Qi. Come out and die. Han Yang Qinyue's voice sounded in the front yard of the Chen family mansion. The deathly silent Chen family compound seemed to be shaken. Next moment, with the sound of clattering footsteps and the clash of weapons, more than a dozen Chen family warriors surged out and surrounded Han Yang. Han Yang. How dare you come back? Where is that cheap-made Qin Xiaoqian? Kneel down. Kowtow to the great elder to apologize. The blade of the knife and the light of the spear were pointed directly at Han Yang. Han Yang put his hands behind his back and looked at the main hall with indifferent eyes. He only has Chen Qi, the elder of the Chen family, in his eyes. This family of forced married women was indirectly responsible for Qin Xiaoqian being taken away by Ji Feihua. Han Yang. Who gave you courage? That the main hall door is open. Chen Qiqi, the eldest elder of the Chen family, came with a majestic step and looked at Han Yang with eyes full of hatred. Han Yang took away Chen Xiaoqian, ruined the marriage between the Chen family and the Li family, and even killed his own son. It was an unforgivable crime. Chen Qi, today is the day you die. Han Yang's eyes boiled with murderous intent, and the surging momentum rose like an angry dragon. Oh, the great elder Chen Qi glanced at Han Yang with disdain. It turns out that you broke through to the bone-forging realm. How dare you come back? However, trash is trash after all. I really thought that after reaching the bone-forging realm, I could let you run rampant. Home. Second child, third child. Following the words of the great elder Chen Qi, two figures walked in from the Chen family gate behind Han Yang. It turned out that these two people were afraid that Han Yang would escape and surrounded him from behind. Seeing this scene, Han Yang smiled brightly. The Chen family underestimated Han Yang. The god of war in the divine realm has been reborn for the 9th time, and he has never retreated. Take it. The great elder waved his hand with a livid face. With Han Yang so openly targeting the Chen family, the news of Chen Xiaoqian's disappearance must not be hidden. Not only was the Chen family embarrassed, but they couldn't explain it to the Li family either. Only by capturing Han Yang and finding Chen Xiaoqian can the dilemma be solved. The second elder's green shirt fluttered, his figure rose up, and the air around him made a loud crackling sound. In the battle that day, he was repulsed twice by Han Yang. Today, he wants to be humiliated. The third elder did not let the second elder fight alone. He stepped on the ground with one foot, smashed the green bricks, and shot out like an arrow from a string. The punch was like a dragon, heading straight for Han Yang's face. He's just a bone-forging junior, one punch will destroy him. Han Yang jerked his body backwards, and his fists shot out like blazing sun. The boxing name is Tiangang, unparalleled strength. If you punch out, you will kill. Chen Xiaoqian's anger at being taken away was vented from these two punches. Chapter 13. Anyone who insults my wife will die. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. The Tiangang fist, activated by the power of the stars, is violent and fierce, coming first and last. The third elder's fist was violently broken open, and countless ribs were broken. One move failed. The second elder's expression changed drastically and he hurriedly stepped back, but Han Yang's feet were as light as stepping on colorful auspicious clouds. In just a moment, he arrived in front of the second elder. Break all laws with one force. No matter how many techniques the second elder used to dodge and counterattack, Han Yang only used Tiangang fist. No. Brother, save me. The second elder soon let out a desperate roar, without any fighting spirit in his heart. Boom. The master dared to be so distracted while fighting with each other. What greeted him was Han Yang's devastating punch. Broken hand. Fracture. Heartbroken. The second elder maintained his punching posture and froze in place. 7 days ago, he defeated Han Yang twice and defeated him even more. 7 days later, he was killed by Han Yang with one move. What happened to Han Yang in the past 7 days? With endless doubts. Second elder, die. 9 turns of stars. Ju really lives up to its name. Han Yang also felt emotional in his heart. The ordinary martial arts Tiangang fist, inspired by the power of the stars and the 9-turn star technique, actually allowed him to kill a 4th-level bone-forging master with a punch. This is when only one acupuncture point on the first pulse has been opened. In the previous life, perhaps everyone, including myself, underestimated the power of this god-level martial arts. There was silence. There was deathly silence in the huge Chen family courtyard. The dozens of Chen family warriors around them seemed to have their throats strangled by the god of death, unable to make any sound. Han Yang. You actually dare to kill the elders in my Chen family? The great elder Chen Qi finally came to his senses. His forehead veins were exposed, and his eyes were filled with boiling murderous intent. 7 days. Just 7 days. This useless son-in-law can actually use the 1st level of bone forging and reverse the 4th level of bone forging. What if we gave this waste more time to grow? He now vaguely understood the reason why the head of the family forced Han Yang to be his son-in-law despite everyone's objections. The other party, no matter how he is a good-for-nothing son-in-law, is clearly a hidden dragon that is about to soar into the sky. If only I had known this, if he had known this earlier, he would have killed Han Yang with his own hands and would never have allowed him to grow up to this day. The head of the family is missing. If you want to control the Chen family, this son must die. Anyone who insults my wife can be killed. After killing 2 people in a row, the anger in Han Yang's chest was still burning. Not enough. Not enough. Only by killing the instigator Chen Qi can the anger in his heart be extinguished. Ha! You can kill any of them. Do you really think that by killing those 2 losers, you can be unscrupulous? Today, I will let you know what the 5th level is. The great elder, Chen Qi, had cracking bones all over his body, and his height actually grew by half a foot. A skinny old man with gray beard and hair turned into a majestic man in an instant. Die! After his figure surged, the great elder, like a giant spirit god, stretched out his big hand like a cattail leaf fan and grabbed Han Yang. At this moment, Han Yang punched. There seemed to be a big sun rising suddenly over the Chen family compound. Tiangang fist in tension. The surrounding Chen family warriors were all stunned. The fist in tension is actually the fist in tension that can only be possessed by those who have reached the pinnacle of boxing practice. This Han Yang, at such a young age, already possesses fist power. What a terrifying talent! Almost all Chen family warriors felt a sense of regret in their hearts. If we had known that Han Yang had such a talent, we would not have married into the Li family. As long as Han Yang was trained, the Chen family would soar into the sky. Unfortunately, it's too late now. The hatred of taking away a wife is irreconcilable, and the hatred of humiliation will never be repaid. A proud man of heaven was actually forced to become an enemy by them. For the first time, the Chen family warriors felt that the decision of several elders was wrong, compared to others. The great elder Chen Qi was equally horrified. As a 5th-level bone-forging master, even though he did not understand the fist intention, he still knew how terrifying the fist intention was. But the more this happened, the more Han Yang had to die. If this son doesn't die, he will feel uneasy. The surging power of the 5th level of bone forging surged out like a big river, overwhelming the sky and the earth, and smashed towards Han Yang. One hand would crush Han Yang to death. Han Yang, without dodge or avoidance, punched out with the humiliation of seizing his wife and the hatred of killing him. Boom! The terrifying force set off a huge gas blast shock wave in the courtyard. All the Chen family warriors closed their eyes subconsciously. The great elder's shrill screams, however, overwhelmed the sound of gas explosions and reached their ears. 2 of the Chen family warriors felt a strong wind blowing past them, and the rocky mountains behind them made a huge crashing sound. When they opened their eyes again, their elder, a strong man at the 5th level of bone forging, was already stuck to the stone mountain like a puddle of mud. Han Yang, you! The Chen family warriors were dumbfounded, never expecting that the great elder, who was unrivaled in their hearts, would be defeated so miserably. Snapped! With everyone watching, Han Yang took a step towards the elder who was staggering and trying to get up from the rockery. As expected of the 5th level of bone forging, half of the bones were broken, but he didn't die. We are all one family, Han Yang, we must be merciful and merciful. There is a warrior who boasts that he has had 2 conversations with Han Yang on weekdays and wants to stand up and persuade him. He felt that if Han Yang could return to the Chen family would surely soar into the sky. Family? Han Yang looked at the man indifferently and said coldly, when you are forcing my fiancée Xiaoqian to get married, does anyone remember that we are a family? All the warriors bowed their heads. At that time, everyone felt that marrying Chen Xiaoqian to the Li family would be most beneficial to the Chen family. When his lackeys injured me and almost killed me, did anyone remember that we were a family? When he sent warriors to hunt down Xiao Qian and me, forcing us to flee into the monster forest, did anyone remember that we were a family? Han Yang's questions were like sharp knives piercing into the bodies of all Chen family warriors. Yes, at that time, no one said a word from the standpoint of Han Yang and Chen Xiaoqian. All they think about is profit. Han Yang glanced at everyone with indifferent eyes and chuckled, family. This time, no one had the nerve to stop Han Yang. Han Yang, don't kill me. I can make you the head of the Chen family. I can. The great elder Chen Qi was afraid. This murderous Han Yang is no longer the useless son-in-law he was not long ago. This is clearly a demon god who chooses people to devour. His begging for mercy could not stop Han Yang from approaching step by step. Han Yang, not just when Han Yang was about to kill the great elder Chen, a figure appeared. It was the guard beside Nan Lingxue. Han Yang's strength was beyond his expectation. The 4th level of bone forging and the 5th level of bone forging are already well-known strong men, but in Han Yang's hands, he was like a chicken or a dog. This young man has amazing talent. He glanced at the messy Chen family compound with a complicated expression, and said earnestly, Han Yang, don't be impulsive. If you kill Chen, the Li family will not let you go. Ah! What answered him was Han Yang's chuckle without any emotion. I said, anyone who insults my wife will die. Cut it down with one palm. Chapter 14 The Truth About the Disappearance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen, the great elder who has been dominating the Chen family for decades and even the head of the Chen family can only barely suppress him, dies. Throughout the Chen family compound, you can hear a needle drop. There was only the sound of blood dripping from the rocks. All the warriors of the Chen family seemed to be half shorter. Something in his heart was crushed with Han Yang's punch. The guard of the city lord's mansion took a look at the red and white rocks and shook his head. Han Yang's talent is indeed extraordinary, but his character, whether it is the direct son of the Lin family or the eldest elder of the Chen family, these powerful and respected people seem to be like rotten dogs in Han Yang's heart, capable of killing at will. If you don't become a dragon with this kind of mind, you will become a demon. No matter what, little Luoqing may not be able to trap this hidden dragon. Mr. Han, my lady has invited me. That the guard at the city lord's mansion didn't even notice that his tone was much more polite than before, and he no longer dared to call Han Yang by his first name. Han Yang nodded, jumped down from the rockery, and walked towards the door. I no longer have any nostalgia for the Chen family that I have lived with for several years. Han Yang, Mr. Han. You can't leave. Those Chen family warriors fell to their knees as if they were suddenly awakened. If you leave, the Chen family will be doomed. Master Han, please stay and take charge of the Chen family. We are willing to serve you as our lord. Please Mr. Han, take charge of the Chen family on behalf of the eldest lady. All Chen family warriors unanimously hope that Han Yang can stay. The great elder of the 5th level of bone forging was killed, and the backbone of the Chen family was broken. If it weren't for Han Yang, the Chen family would definitely be annexed by other families in Luo City who are eyeing it. But unfortunately, their pleading could not keep Han Yang at all. The little Chen family is not worthy of Han Yang's attention at all. Without Chen Xiaoqian, the Chen family is nothing in Han Yang's eyes. A flash of disdain flashed in the eyes of the guards at the city lord's mansion. If I had known today, why bother then? When they were chasing Han Yang and Chen Xiaoqian that day, no one was willing to show any mercy. Now you want Han Yang, who has an unlimited future, to stay in a small place like the Chen family? How can it be? Outside Chen's house. Brother Han. Is it really you? Wasn't he taken away by some old monster? Nan Lingxue, who came a step late, held up her red skirt and came close to Han Yang, her beautiful eyes looking up and down. If Han Yang hadn't pointed her away with his finger, she seemed to have wanted to stick out her tongue and taste Han Yang's taste. No wonder she was so surprised. As the person who knows Han Yang best besides Chen Xiaoqian in the entire Luo city, she is too curious. Not long ago, Han Yang was a cripple whose cultivation had been crippled. In just a short time, he actually killed the elder of the Chen family who was at the 5th level of bone forging. It was so fierce. That girl, Chen Xiaoqian, is also very lucky. Such a good man turned out to be the son-in-law who stepped in on the door. Take good care of yourself from now on. I'm leaving Luo City. Looking at his fiancée's only good sister, Han Yang's eyes became a little more tender. Leave Luoqing. Where are you going? Looking for Xianxia. By the way, where has Xianxia gone? Wasn't she taken away by you? Are you two going to live a world of two apart from me? That the charming eldest lady of the city lord's mansion suddenly looked like a kitten with hairy fur, meowing non-stop. Han Yang didn't intend to say more, but he could only say helplessly when he saw this, Xianxia went to a very far place and won't be able to come back in a short time. As for me, I want to find her father for her. Seeing Han Yang mentioning Chen Xiaoqian's father, Nan Lingxue's expression condensed and she stopped playing around. A year ago, Chen Xiaoqian's father disappeared. which became the trigger of everything. Han Yang was deposed, Chen Xiaoqian was forced to marry. They all happened after Chen Xiaoqian's father disappeared. Without the suppression of the head of the Chen family, unfortunate things happened one after another to this pair of young people. I found some information about Uncle Chen here. Do you want to know? Nan Lingxue blinked, like a kitten asking for a reward from its master. This woman is truly a natural beauty, charming and enchanting, and coquettish and lovable. Han Yang moved and circled around Nan Lingxue twice, leaving behind 7 or 8 afterimages. Do you see clearly? This is the gift I left for you for Xianxia. Han Yang taught Nan Lingxue the Huanyan step. Ordinary skills are nothing special to him, but in the eyes of ordinary people, it is a top-secret skill. Even though Nan Lingxue was the daughter of the city lord, she was deeply attracted by this dreamy pace. The 2 guards of the city lord's palace who were at the 4th level of bone forging immediately turned around. They are not qualified to see such amazing skills. A doubt arose in their hearts at the same time. Who is this Han Yang? Such a skill that can be used as the secret knowledge of the clan can be taught so easily. Nan Lingxue didn't seem to care about this at all. After learning it for a few fun, she actually got the hang of it. The long red dress fluttered like a flying fairy. You have a conscience. Nan Lingxue nodded with satisfaction and told Han Yang the information she had. After saying this, she didn't wait for Han Yang's reaction, and went to play with the Huanyan step happily. It was obvious that she really liked this dreamy pace. He actually disappeared in Yanhua Valley. Han Yang frowned slightly. According to the information investigated by Nan Lingxue, a year ago, Chen Xiaoqian's father, Chen Yu, was besieged in Yanhua Valley and finally disappeared, but Yanhua Valley is now a sect in the 9 cities. Yuanmen belongs to the territory, and outsiders are not qualified to enter, let alone investigation. There are 9 cities in the jurisdiction of Yuanmen, and their power is extremely huge. It has been passed down for many years and has many masters. With Han Yang's current strength, it is almost impossible to invade by force. If you want to go to Yanhua Valley, there is nothing you can do. Nan Lingxue came over at some point and put a token in Han Yang's hand. Yuanmen is recruiting disciples. If you can become a disciple of Yuanmen, then there will be no trouble in entering Yanhua Valley. Besides, with your status as a Yuanmen disciple, it will be much easier for you to investigate Uncle Chen's affairs. The identity of the core disciple of Yuanmen is even more respected than that of the young city lord. Even if they are just inner disciples, if they want to investigate something, not many people would dare to stop them. The investigation will get twice the result with half the effort. Nan Lingxue was right about this. Han Yang reached out and rubbed Nan Lingxue's head with a smile on his face. It turned out that this girl had prepared everything, so it was not in vain to hurt her. You dare to touch my head. Nan Lingxue's face turned red, like a rabbit that had been hit by an arrow. She picked up her skirt and ran away. Han Yang, just wait, sooner or later I will want your good looks. Only a red cloud-like back was left, covering up her shyness. If it were Han Yang in the past, he would never dare to act so intimately towards the city lord's daughter, but to Han Yang at this time, the charming Nan Lingxue was just a little Lolita that had not yet bloomed. Yuanmen, Li family. Han Yang decided where he would go in the future. Go to Yuanmen to find out the truth about Qin Yu's disappearance. Go to the Li family and let the Li family understand that it is blasphemy for the Li family to even look at Han Yang's woman, let alone marry her. Chapter 15 Revenge does not last overnight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luocheng is not far from Taicheng, but it takes 7 or 8 days to travel. Han Yang was not prepared to sleep in the open air. After leaving Chen's house, he immediately went to a chamber of commerce in the south of the city. This Hengshan Chamber of Commerce mainly does escort and bodyguard work, and is quite famous in Luo City, because both Luocheng and Taicheng are located on the edge of the monster forest. They are often attacked by monsters when they are on the road. The powerful bodyguards of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce undoubtedly provided a lot of help for business travel between cities. Certainly, the reason why Han Yang chose the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce was that he had a grudge with the latter that needed to be settled. About to leave Luocheng, if Han Yang doesn't turn him upside down, how can he live up to his former name as the god of war? The road to revenge begins with the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. When Han Yang came to the door of the Chamber of Commerce, he found that the place was as usual, with a long queue and bustling. He was not in a hurry, standing at the end of the long queue and walking slowly with the formation. Han Yang. Did I read that correctly? You actually dare to come to our Chamber of Commerce, but not long after, a shouting voice sounded behind Han Yang. He looked back, a group of waiters were picking their teeth and burping, walking towards them. The so-called escorts are the bodyguard's followers, most of whom only have body tempering skills. If placed in a village outside the city, he could barely be regarded as a person, but if placed in Luo City, he would be an inconspicuous little person. But even such an inconspicuous little person had humiliated Han Yang many times in the past, and did not take Han Yang into consideration at all. The man with an open arms and a strong physique pointed at Han Yang and smiled sarcastically at his companions. Brothers, don't you know him? This is the son-in-law of the Chen family. However, the Chen family is now in a state of affairs. He is preparing to marry the Li family in Taichung, and the marriage partner is his wife. Ha ha ha. This time the executioner seemed to think what he said was very interesting, holding his belly in his hands and laughing. The others also laughed and looked at Han Yang like they looked at those cuckold teapots in the Red House. Brother Dong, that beautiful young lady of the Chen family is a flower in our Luo city. Unexpectedly, she actually took advantage of others. A waiter agreed. This person had small eyes and dirty saliva hanging from the corner of his mouth. He had obviously thought of something dirty. Careful, at this moment, an exclamation came from Wan Zishou's ears. Before he could react, a pair of iron-like hands gripped his neck tightly. Let Wuzi go. What a courage! The sound of the sword being unsheathed was heard, and the other four warriors all drew their swords in their hands and surrounded Han Yang. Han Yang! If you dare to touch me, the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce will not spare you. The man who had his neck pinched by Han Yang screamed and yelled at Han Yang with a fierce expression. Click. Han Yang's face was expressionless, his fingers trembling slightly, and he directly broke the man's neck. The sound of bones breaking was like thunder, frightening the other four riders and sending chills down their backs. Kill, kill. A little son-in-law of the Chen family actually unscrupulously killed people from the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. You. Brother Dong, who was strong, picked up the knife and was about to say something harsh when he saw Han Yang turn into a black shadow and hit him. Boom. Brother Dong's huge figure flew directly into the air. Before the person landed, a bloody rainbow sprayed out. At this moment, a figure in Xuanyi jumped out of the Chamber of Commerce and caught Brother Dong in the air with one hand. Feeling the huge force coming from his arm, Xianyi's figure frowned slightly. Stop! He shouted softly. The remaining three attackers who were about to pounce on Han Yang stopped one after another. Little Lord. Young Master, this guy is rude. He didn't take our Hengshan Chamber of Commerce seriously at all, and he actually killed Tian Zhan. As if they had found a backbone, the gangsters turned right and wrong and complained to the Xuanyi people. This man in Xuanyi is none other than Tian Jingyun, the young master of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. In Luo City, he is considered a young talent as famous as Nan Lingxue and Lin Yuheng. Tian Jingyun ignored the clamor of his men, narrowed his eyes slightly, and said to Han Yang with a cold face, for the sake of the Chen family, I will spare your life this time and leave this place immediately. Otherwise, don't blame our Chamber of Commerce for being ruthless. His tone was very domineering and condescending, and he obviously didn't take Han Yang seriously. What? You opened the door for business, are you trying to turn away customers? Han Yang looked at Tian Jingyun with a half-smile. When Chen Xiaoqian was not ill, she was still the most beautiful woman in Los Angeles, and Tian Jingyun was also one of her admirers. After Han Yang joined the Chen family, the latter often made trouble in secret. If Chen Xiaoqian's father hadn't protected him, Han Yang might have fallen into Tian Jingyun's hands. This guy is a smiling tiger. Han Yang chose to come to the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, so he naturally wanted to take the opportunity to take revenge. He never takes revenge overnight. Before leaving Luo City, I must settle all my previous grudges. Guest. Tian Jingyun looked at Han Yang sarcastically and said, we only call guests after we have paid. Can you, Han Yang, give you a tael of silver? As soon as these words came out, Everyone around laughed. Han Yang's identity as the son-in-law of the Chen family is very famous in Luo City. The most famous joke is that after the head of the Chen family disappeared, all Han Yang's medical money was taken away by the great elder Chen Qi. He even had to take Chen Xiaoqian's jewelry to a pawn shop to exchange for money. In their eyes, Han Yang was synonymous with incompetent waste in Luo City. Of course I have the silver, but I don't know if you can catch it. Amid the laughter of everyone, Han Yang suddenly waved his hand. A ray of silver light shot towards Tian Jingyun. It's a whole ingot of silver. You're just tempering your body, but you dare to do anything in front of me. Tian Jingyun sneered, and calmly stretched out his hand to grab the silver ingot. Boom. The silver ingot hit the palm of his hand hard. Tian Jingyun only felt an unparalleled force coming from the silver ingot. He bang 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 took 3 consecutive steps back before he could barely stand still. The green bricks under his feet burst into pieces. You forged your bones? Tian Jingyun shook his almost numb hand and looked at Han Yang in disbelief, his eyes full of shock. In Luo City, bone forging is a watershed. Anyone who can reach the bone forging realm before the age of 30 can be called a young talent. He didn't expect that Han Yang, the useless son-in-law of the Chen family, would actually have his bones forged. My money is not so easy to get. Han Yang looked at Tian Jingyun with a smile. Tian Jingyun laughed angrily. It's just bone forging, my young master. Just in the middle of what he said, he suddenly let out a scream. His face stiffened, his body trembled, and he felt that the silver in his right hand was as hot as a flame. It turned out that Han Yang's fierce Tiangang fist power was melted into the silver ingot, and then suddenly exploded, pouring the power into his body along the palm of his hand. Stab. Half of Tian Jingyun's clothes exploded, and his entire right arm turned black and was almost useless. Everyone was stunned. Han Yang looked at Tian Jingyun, who was at a loss with his arms folded, and said slowly, "This is to repay you for instigating the villain to plot against me, which almost caused me to lose one of my arms." 3 months ago, Tian Jingyun had ordered a strong bone forger to attack Han Yang. Fortunately, Han Yang's cultivation was still there at that time, and he still had the 8th level of body tempering cultivation, and he barely escaped death. Otherwise, Tian Jingyun's people would have his arm amputated before he could awaken his past life memories. How could you not avenge this revenge? Damn it, this kid is just here to cause trouble. Everyone, take action and destroy him for me. Hearing this, Tian Jingyun became completely angry. Chapter 16. What a murderous weather. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The waiters on the side had tangled expressions and kept cursing Tian Jingyun secretly in their hearts. Since Han Yang is already a warrior in the bone forging realm, what's the difference between those of them in the body tempering realm, rushing over and dying? But since the young master has given his word, if he doesn't go up, that would be blatant disobedience. Just when several of the waiters were hesitating, pushing me and pushing you, suddenly, there was an angry shout, which exploded in everyone's ears like thunder, causing the ears of the surrounding warriors to buzz. If you dare to hurt me, the young master of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, kneel down and die. The next moment, a blade of light pierced the sky and slashed towards Han Yang. Li Xian, the sky-breaking sword. One of the 3 bone-forging masters of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. His strength has already reached the 3rd level of bone forging. Han Yang will definitely die this time. Who can blame me? This kid thinks he has entered bone forging and doesn't care about others, so he came to the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce to cause trouble. Someone recognized the identity of the person and exclaimed. Han Yang narrowed his eyes slightly, and murderous intent surged in his heart. It was this guy who was ordered by Tian Jingyun to hurt him. If this guy hadn't been so careless, the outcome of that day would have been very hard to predict. Now, take revenge. Stop. Just when the two were about to fight, 2 more figures rushed towards them. One person protected Han Yang in front of him, and the other swung his sword and blocked the fierce blow of Li Xian, the Duan Kong Dao. Master, are you okay? Don't worry, Master, no one can hurt you as long as we are here. They were 2 old men, both looking loyal and not giving anyone else a chance to get close to Han Yang. Elders of the Chen family, Chen Feng, Chen Tuo. You 2 old guys, are you going to protect this trash? Seeing the appearance of the visitor clearly, Tianjinyan's heart suddenly boiled with anger. These two are clearly the fourth elder and fifth elder of the Chen family, never thought that they would protect Han Yang, their son-in-law, to the point of confronting the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. Presumptuous. The fourth elder, Chen Feng, yelled angrily, "Are you the one who called you trash? If you dare to be disrespectful to me, the head of the Chen family, I, the Chen family, will fight you to the death." Everyone was shocked again. Han Yang, the head of the Chen family? Only then did Tianjinyan confirm that he had heard correctly before. These two elders of the Chen family called Han Yang the head of the family. He looked at Han Yang uncertainly, but he saw Han Yang frowning slightly, with a look of shame in his eyes, and scolded, "Get out of the way. I have completely severed ties with the Chen family, and my affairs have nothing to do with the Chen family." These two elders guard the Chen family mine all year round, and Han Yang has only seen them once or twice. Unexpectedly, he also returned from the mine. The fourth elder, Chen Feng, said with a solemn expression, "We will discuss the internal disputes later. Don't worry, head of the family, I will never let them hurt you." Han Yang's mouth twitched. In the past, this old man was serious, but he was so good at acting. He didn't believe it at all. The two of them didn't know that the great elder Chen Qi was killed by him. At this time, isn't it too late to play the trick of loyally protecting the Lord? The fourth elder of the Chen family, he almost disabled my young master's hand. You, the Chen family, must give me and the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce an explanation. Tianjinyan's tone obviously slowed down a lot. The strength of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce is not enough to compete with the Chen family. Even without Qinyu, the head of the Chen family is still one of the 7 major families in Luo City. Explain. Are you, the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, worthy of my Chen family? Fourth elder Chen Feng said this very arrogantly, because he knew very well that the former son-in-law Han Yang standing next to him was a powerful genius who could kill even the 5th level of bone forging. The Hengshan Chamber of Commerce is nothing more than a local chicken and a dog. He himself was just borrowing Han Yang's power. Tianjinyan's face had become extremely ugly. Young master. What should I do? Why don't you endure it for a while? Li Xian, the Duan Kong Dao, also lost his confidence and asked in a low voice. Just when Tianjinyan was unwilling and ready to retreat, a sarcastic voice suddenly rang out. The Chen family is really good at putting on airs. Without Qinyu, who would give you the courage? When everyone heard the sound, they turned to see a group of people in Xingyi approaching from a distance. On their skirts, there was a plum blossom seal character embroidered on them. Lin. Uncle Lin. Tianjinyan changed his arrogance when facing Han Yang, hugged his injured arm, and took the lead in saluting. The person who came was one of the 4 great 5th-level bone-forging warriors of the Lin family, Lin Duan, known as the Mountain Tiger. This person's flying tiger boxing technique was praised by Qinyu, the former #1 man in Luo City, which shows that it is very extraordinary. Lin Duan nodded, and then looked at Han Yang with an indifferent expression. You dare to destroy my direct lineage of the Lin family? Who gave you the courage? Not to mention the others, the 4th elder Chen Feng and the 5th elder Chen Tua suddenly felt their scalps numb. Isn't this guy Han Yang too capable of causing trouble? The Lin family is not the Chen family. Except for Qinyu, everyone else is useless. There are 4 people in the Lin family who are strong at the 5th level of bone forging alone. Lin Kaishan, the eldest elder of the Lin family, is a master of the 7th level of bone forging. In the realm of bone forging, there are considerable changes every time you advance to 1 level. With the current situation of the Chen family, there is no way they can stop the Lin family. Brother Lin, is there any misunderstanding here? Shut up. As soon as Chen Feng opened his mouth, he was interrupted rudely by Lin Duan. Who do you think you are? Are you worthy of talking to this elder? Chen Feng opened his mouth, but he didn't dare to say the word no. He was only at the 3rd level of bone forging, and he didn't dare to face Lin Duan, who was at the 5th level of bone forging. Lin Duan pointed at Han Yang and said coldly, today, this elder is going to take him back to the Lin family. Anyone who dares to stop him will be killed on the spot. The 6th level cannot come out. The 5th level of bone forging is the peak power of Luo City, and Lin Duan has such confidence. Master, bow your head to the Lin family and admit your mistake. Fourth Elder Chen Feng had no choice but to let Han Yang bow his head. This is the Chen family, a group of courageous people with no blood. If it weren't for Xiaoqian, Han Yang raised his head and said calmly, I, Han Yang, can break my head, bleed, and my waist, can't bend. You. Fourth Elder Chen Feng blew his beard angrily and stared. He did not expect that this boy would be so unruly. Master, at this time, Lin Duan seemed to have heard a joke, his face full of mockery. The Chen family is really going to be in ruins without Chen Yu. Let a son-in-law with a strong bone forging be the head of the family. What a big joke. The Lin family members around Lin Duan were also laughing, even Tian Jingyun and Li Xian looked strange. Indeed, let a first-level bone-forging martial artist be the head of the family, and he is still a son-in-law with no foundation. The Chen family seems to be in decline. The fourth elder and the fifth elder were blushing and subconsciously moved away from Han Yang. Originally, Han Yang killed the great elder of the fifth level of bone forging, which gave them a glimmer of hope for the family's rise, but now, they suddenly discovered that letting a son-in-law be the head of the family might only bring them shame. They retreated. The two of them covered their faces and retreated, no longer caring about Han Yang's life or death. This scene once again caused everyone around to laugh. In their eyes, without Chen Yu, the Chen family and everyone else are just a joke. Han Yang was also quite emotional. The Chen family is really the one-person family of father-in-law Chen Yu. 5 years ago, his father-in-law Chen Yu suddenly emerged and shocked Luo City. In just 2 years, he became the first person in Los Angeles. The Chen family also grew stronger and became one of the 7 major families in Luo City. Now that Chen Yu is missing, the Chen family is immediately brought back to its original shape. Boy, now you Chen family members have given up on you, it's really sad. Lin Duan looked at Han Yang with a stern face and said, don't say that I didn't give you a chance. Now, if you kneel on the ground and curse that you are a piece of trash, I will only destroy your cultivation. I can forgive you. How about you not dying? Han Yang did not answer Lin Duan's words, but raised his head and looked at the crimson sunset on the horizon. You. Lin Duan was about to take action in anger when he heard Han Yang say something horrifying and touching. What a killer weather. Chapter 17 Kill Kill Kill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What did you say? Lin Duan looked at Han Yang in confusion. The next moment, Han Yang rushed forward under the gaze of everyone in shock. The direction turned out to be the elder of the Lin family, a strong man at the 5th level of bone forging. Lin Duan. Everyone suddenly froze on the spot. The good-for-nothing Han Yang actually dared to punch the Lin family elder at the 5th level of bone forging. It's crazy. Act recklessly. Lin Duan sneered and waved his arms casually, piercing the air like a giant python pouncing on food, and headed straight towards Han Yang. At this moment, Han Yang's right fist arrived, Cloud Explorer. The bones of his arm bloomed with a bright light, and his punches were like dragons. The air bursts like a dragon moving through the clouds, blast the air. Han Yang's attack was comparable to the 5th level of bone forging. Lin Duan was startled, and the 16 bones in his body slowly squirmed, making the sound of muscles and bones ringing together. In the blink of an eye, he exerted his 5th level bone forging strength to the extreme, but, it's too late. The cloud exploring hand flexibly passed between the two bodies at an incredible angle. Boom. The 5th level expert with 18 pieces of forged bones was blown away like a rag bag, blood spurted out like a rainbow, and the figure fell heavily to the ground. Instant kill. He actually killed him instantly with one punch. The 5th level of bone forging. The Lin family, as well as the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce warriors, all staggered back in shock, not daring to face Han Yang's sharp edge. He can actually defeat the 5th level of bone forging. Tian Jingyun's face was extremely pale, and he looked at Han Yang like he was looking at a wild beast. The 1st level of bone forging defeated the 5th level of bone forging with one punch. Could it be that he was the reincarnation of an ancient god and demon? No one could tell him the answer. Han Yang looked calm and his eyes slowly fell on Tian Jingyun. Tian Jingyun was so frightened that he hid behind Li Xian. He shouted urgently, I I am the young master of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. If you dare to touch me, this Chamber of Commerce will never spare you. Is it? Han Yang ignored the other party's threats and stepped forward, slowly walking towards Tian Jinyan. The two words that came out of his mouth were like muffled thunder, going straight into the other person's soul. At this moment, Li Xian was already wilting. His forehead was sweating and his back was cold, but he had no choice but to stand up and protect the young master. Han. Young Master Han, the Chamber of Commerce and the young master have no deep hatred. As long as the young master is willing to stop, the Chamber of Commerce will. No deep hatred. He. You seem to have forgotten that 3 months ago, you almost lost your limbs. Han Yang's tone was indifferent, and the coldness in his eyes made Li Xian's hair stand on end. He actually knew. How did he know? Before Li Xian could react, Han Yang took action again. This time, he didn't even use martial arts, just a simple straight punch. Snapped. A terrifying sonic boom comparable to thunder exploded in everyone's ears. Li Xian was simply unable to take this terrifying move. The third level of bone forging is just hammering and polishing 4 bones. The 5th level master of bone forging who had tempered 16 pieces was all killed by the opponent with one move, let alone him. Boom! Amidst the thunderous roar, a fist mark suddenly bulged out from Li Xian's back. His face was also distorted by pain. Then, it flew out like a kite with its string cut off, and lost its breath while still in midair. The majestic Duan Kong's sword didn't even have a chance to use the sword, and was killed by one punch again. Seeing that Li Xian, whom he relied on, was also killed by Han Yang in front of his eyes, Tian Jinyan, whose arms were trembling, fell softly to the ground, and his whole body was shaking like chaff. He was completely frightened. Tian Jinyan never thought that Han Yang would be so crazy that he would have no scruples and kill their escort at the entrance of Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. Moreover, he wanted to kill him, the young master of the Chamber of Commerce. If he had known this, he would never provoke this madman. No matter how beautiful Chen Xiaoqian is, she has become a popular shizi after she became seriously ill. She is destined not to be a big woman. Why is she doing this? Han Yang, have you ever thought about the consequences of killing me? At this moment, he doesn't have half the charm of a young master. He is like a bereaved dog, whining at the end. As a result of, Han Yang laughed and said, I have been humiliated by you and others for 3 years in Luocheng. Today, I avenge my shame. Whatever the consequences are, I will bear them all. Before he could finish his words, his fist surged forward and hit Tian Jinyan's face. Stop! At this moment, an angry shout came from within the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. At the same time, a bit of cold light shot out, as if seeing a savior. Tian Jinyan let out a voice of surprise. Chief Escort, hurry, save this young master. The person who came was none other than Nan Xiaofeng, one of the 3 chief escorts of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. He was also a 5th-level bone-forging expert and could be called the backbone of the Chamber of Commerce. With his intervention, Tian Jinyan thought he had a glimmer of hope and would not die in Han Yang's hands. Unfortunately, he thought wrong. Just as Nan Xiaofeng jumped up quickly, Han Yang raised his toes, and the long knife left by Li Xian on the ground flew out across the air and shot into Tian Jinyan's chest like a bolt of lightning. Puff! Blood splattered everywhere. You! Tian Jinyan's eyes widened, his head tilted, and there was no movement. The young master of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce was nailed to death on the stone steps in front of his house. The expressions of everyone around him changed drastically. The 4th and 5th elders of the Chen family, who were peering in the distance, wished they could dig a hole and escape. This guy was so bold that he went on a killing spree without any scruples. This is going to bring so much harm to the Chen family. You little bastard, you are so brave. Nan Xiaofeng's face was ashen and he was completely furious. The young leader of the Chamber of Commerce was actually killed in front of him. Now, even he himself can't escape the blame. Han Yang glanced at Tian Jinyan, who was still staring, and drove the flying knife in his hand into Nan Xiaofeng's face. If you want to die, just do it. Nan Xiaofeng looked ugly, but he didn't draw his sword and stepped forward. The boy in front of him not only received the flying knife that he was famous for, but he had just killed a 5th-level bone-forging master with a single punch, which was almost the same as his own. This made Nan Xiaofeng not take action rashly, just when he was having trouble getting off the horse. A 4-horse carriage not far away stopped in front of the Chamber of Commerce amidst the clatter of horse hooves, for white horses without mottled colors show the extraordinary status of the person. On top of the carriage, there sat a middle-aged man wearing green armor, with a long knife between his knees, looking very imposing. Seeing the person coming, the people around him changed their expressions again. Many of them did not dare to look directly at this person and bowed their heads respectfully. General Shiman, Nan Xiaofeng also had a happy expression on his face, and he stepped forward to greet him and bowed respectfully. This middle-aged man is the Deputy General of Luoqing Town, Shiman Sheng, who is at the peak of the 5th level of bone forging. He once had a record of killing the 6th level of bone forging. He is one of the masters from the Yuan sect, very powerful. Even the president of their Chamber of Commerce would salute Shiman Sheng. Shiman Sheng ignored Nan Xiaofeng, who was bending down to salute, but looked indifferently at Han Yang, who was standing with his hands behind his back, wearing white clothes and snow. Who are you? Killing someone on the street, in your eyes, is it still legal? Nan Xiaofeng's eyes flashed with a look of gloating. If the guard deputy general comes forward, this little beast will shed its skin if he doesn't die today. A warrior's blood revenge should be repaid with blood. These people have a grudge against me, and I will kill them if I want. Are the defenders still meddling in Jianghu affairs? Han Yang's eyes were still dull. This Shiman Sheng is also not a good thing. After his father-in-law Chen Yu disappeared, Shiman Sheng once visited Chen's house at night, seemingly searching for any secrets left by Chen Yu. The funny thing is that no one in the huge Chen family noticed it. Han Yang, who was still born with Taoism, occasionally noticed some abnormalities. However, due to his cultivation level, he had not alerted others before. Now, the guarding deputy general with evil intentions deliberately pretended not to know him, but tried to intervene. Naturally, he would not look good to him. In any case, the sky in Luo City was destined to be destroyed. In Han Yang's eyes, how could he care about an opponent with a 5th level of bone forging? However, after Shiman Sheng heard Han Yang's answer, he unusually did not get angry, but laughed lightly. Ha, 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 there are talented people in the country. I never thought that after Brother Chen left, the Chen family would there is someone like you again. His slightly narrowed eyes revealed a look of greed that could not be concealed. The Chen family's heritage is really profound. Shiman Sheng's eyes fell on Han Yang. Like knives, it seems that he wants to put Han. Yang dug deeper and discovered the secret of his sudden rise. Han Yang smiled faintly, and the only hammered bone in his arm shone brightly. No matter how many calculations you make, the only thing you can do is fight in the end. Where does all this nonsense come from? Chapter 18 You are also worthy of a knife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shiman Sheng smiled slightly, without taking Han Yang into his eyes, and said to himself, however, talent is not the reason for you to act recklessly. Today, you killed my Luo City businessmen and ignored my Luo City rules. Even if Chen Yu is here, he can't protect you. His tone was so calm that he didn't take Han Yang into consideration at all. As for what Shiman Sheng said about Chen Yu not being able to protect Han Yang, it was just a joke. When Chen Yu rose to prominence, one man and his sword overwhelmed the entire Luo City. At that time, I didn't see him stand up and say anything about Luo City's rules. He is just a villain who follows the wind and bullies the weak but fears the strong. One punch. Han Yang was too lazy to talk nonsense with this kind of person. He raised a finger on his right hand and put his left arm behind his back with a calm expression. Shiman Sheng, who was talking to himself, was startled, and a trace of gloom flashed in his eyes. You dare to interrupt this general? In the entire Luo City, except for the city lord, anyone who dared to interrupt him would have their limbs or arms broken, or even die tragically on the spot. Therefore, in the eyes of the people around him, Han Yang might not be able to escape today. Moreover, they all knew Shiman Sheng's purpose. What are the rules for maintaining Los Angeles? This was clearly an excuse to suppress Han Yang and vent his anger at being suppressed by Chen Yu. Nan Xiaofeng's eyes flashed with joy, and he couldn't help but reveal a cruel smile on his face. Han Yang didn't know whether to live or die, so he dared to provoke General Shiman. Today, the former must be dead. One punch. At this moment, Han Yang continued unhurriedly, I only need one punch to kill a barking loser like you. In one sentence, the scene fell into deathly silence. Everyone, including Nan Xiaofeng, looked at Han Yang with strange eyes. Kill Shimin Sheng with one punch. You know, Shimin Sheng was a genius from the Yuan sect, and he once fought against the 6th level of bone forging. If it weren't for Chen Yu, a monster who appears once in a century, it would not be an exaggeration to say that Shimin Sheng was the #1 talented warrior in Luo City. Many people feel that Shimin Sheng is just plating gold in Luo City and will be transferred to Fuching for reuse in a year or two, but now, Han Yang actually said that he could kill Shimin Sheng with one punch. Who gave him the courage? Shimin Sheng narrowed his eyes slightly, I wanted to capture you and throw you into the dungeon, but now it seems that I, the general, will have to discipline you for Chen Yu. Before he finished speaking, a strong wind blew up on the long street. Han Yang didn't even give Shimin Sheng a chance to finish his sentence before he took action brazenly. I saw Han Yang's figure like soaring clouds and mist, arriving in an instant and punching Shimin Sheng. In the eyes of others, this is just a simple punch, but in Shimin Sheng's eyes, it seemed as if a great sun was rising behind Han Yang, shining brightly for all eternity. Even the air behind the ladder was burning and rising, fist in tension. Of course Shimin Sheng knew what this scene that only he could see was. This is the boxing intention that can only be possessed by those who have reached the peak level of boxing skills. He knew it because he had the sword intention himself. He studied in Yuan Men for 4 years, fought on the battlefield for 3 years, and struggled on the verge of death for 7 years before he mastered the basics of sword intent. It was with this hint of sword intent that Shimin Sheng was able to leapfrog and fight against the 6th level of bone forging, but now, a mere son-in law of the Chen family actually has a more powerful fist than him. This boiling sun fist intention almost wiped out his sword intention, making him unable to draw the sword. Cut. Shimin Sheng bit the tip of his tongue and his arms trembled as if they weighed more than 10,000 kilograms. Zanglang. Knife out of its sheath. The sword intent contained in the killing on the battlefield drew a sad arc, cracking the surrounding air and making the sound of a thunderstorm. It seems that this sword is the only thing left between heaven and earth. Nan Xiaofeng, who was also at the 5th level of bone forging, finally realized how big the gap was between himself and Shimin Sheng. Just one knife, to live towards death. He couldn't take it at all. He also didn't believe that someone could take on someone below the 6th level of bone forging. In Nan Xiaofeng's expectant eyes, fists and swords collided. There is no bright light. There is no shocking explosion. Just like destroying the dead, if Shimin wins, he will lose. Shimin Sheng, who was able to reverse attack at the 6th level of bone forging, was thrown off the carriage like a scarecrow. The blood-drinking sword he was famous for was directly blasted into 2 pieces. The green armor on his body, which represented the authority of Luoqing's deputy general, was also shattered by a punch. Boom. When Shimin Sheng hit the street far away, his chest had collapsed and he could no longer die. If you say punch, then punch. Nan Xiaofeng, who was immersed in Shimin Sheng's peerless sword, felt as if his throat was being strangled, unable to speak a word. After Chen Yu, Shimin Sheng, who was considered the most talented person in Luo City, was defeated like this. Being killed by a bone-forging force and a punch. Everyone felt as if they had been hit hard in the chest and could not breathe. After killing Shimin Sheng with one punch, Han Yang seemed to brush the dust off his body and said lightly, "Are you worthy of using a knife?" Yes. Han Yang looked down upon Shimin Sheng's swordsmanship. The sword intention that should have been moving forward was obviously suppressed by his Tiangang fist, and there was a trace of stagnation. Otherwise, he might not die. In Han Yang's opinion, such a person who doubts his own knife power is not worthy of using a knife at all. As for Shimin Sheng's huge reputation, it's just a child's trick. You. Nan Xiaofeng's throat was a little dry, and it took him a long time to say a word. Han Yang put his hands behind his back, his long robe fluttering, like a fairy, and said in an indifferent tone, "Today's revenge, I will kill Tian Jingyun. Do you, the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, have anything to say?" Nan Xiaofeng's chest felt tight. What can he say? Dare he say? If he says a word wrong, Shimin Sheng will serve as a lesson to him. He dared to kill even the guard deputy general, let alone a small bodyguard. This Han Yang is even more arrogant than his father-in-law. Chen Yu, when he rose to prominence. At least Chen Yu didn't kill anyone from the court. Haha. Junior, you are so loud. You just don't know how many more times you can use this beyond the limit boxing skill. A figure emerged from the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce through the air, and it was clearly another of the 3 bodyguards. The moment the bodyguard appeared in front of the door, Han Yang moved. It was still a straight punch. The intention of the fist is like the masculine power of the great sun. Boom. The big escort went away faster than when he came. He was directly punched away and hit the screen wall of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, smashing a human-shaped hole. This scene made Nan Xiaofeng stiffen and break out in cold sweat. This great bodyguard, who had the same level of cultivation as him, couldn't even finish half a sentence before he was blown away. This Han Yang is clearly an overlord who suppresses all dissent. Why would my young master want to provoke such a evil star? The Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, which had just made some progress, not only lost its strength but also suffered a disgrace after this battle. It is feared that it will not be able to recover for more than 10 years. The efforts of 2 generations were ruined today. Chen Yu, with such a vicious eye, could find such a good son-in-law for Chen Xiaoqian. After today, no one in Luo City knows Han Yang's name. Master Han, everything is a misunderstanding. Once Tian Jingyun dies, can the grievances between the master and the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce be settled? Nan Xiaofeng cupped his hands with a miserable face and bowed to apologize. If you want to settle the grudge, I'm afraid someone won't want to. Han Yang's voice was indifferent and he raised his eyes to look forward. There, 2 figures loomed, looking at their cultivation levels. They were at the 6th level of bone forging. Chapter 19 Punch and Bone Forging 6th level. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Nan Xiaofeng felt as uncomfortable as swallowing a fly, and his face was very ugly. The matter can obviously be over, but 2 more troublemakers come. If you want to fight Han Yang, can you go to other places to fight? At least let yourself contain the body of the young master. But seeing at least 30 shining bones on those 2 people, Nan Xiaofeng endured it. The 6th level of bone forging cannot be offended. He no longer even cares whether Han Yang will be killed, he just hopes that the evil star will leave soon. As for revenge, I believe that even the president would not have the guts to seek revenge on an 18-year-old genius with a fist for the death of his son. 2 warriors of the 6th level of bone forging, one of whom was wearing white armor, was Ximen Sheng's immediate boss, Yi Bufan, the general guarding Luo City. The other one, an old man in green clothes with the plum blossom seal character Lin embroidered on his lapel, is the supreme elder of the Lin family, Lin Wuyang. These 2 are both top powerhouses in Luo City, giants in one side. Lin Wuyang didn't even look at Lin Duan's body. He only glanced at Han Yang silently for a few times and praised, young man Chen has such a good eye. Obviously, he also recognized Han Yang's strength, being able to defeat Ximen Sheng, who possesses the will of a sword. Doesn't matter if he doesn't recognize it. Han Yang said calmly, I've heard the name of the Lin family supreme being for a long time. I wonder, if you can take a punch from me. Lin Wuyang's face twitched and he said, Lin Yuheng was short-sighted, Lin Duan bullied others, and deserved his death. I have no idea of revenge. Mr. Han is worrying too much. The supreme leader of the Lin family, who was at the 6th level of bone forging, was actually cowardly. Nan Xiaofeng's eyes almost bulged out. Han Yang only glanced at Lin Wuyang, who was scared for a second, and then turned to Yi Bufan who was standing aside. His grievances with the Lin family were all on Lin Yuheng. With Lin Yuheng dead, the grudges can be settled. However, the grudge between him and the guarding general's mansion will not end with Ximen Sheng's death. Because Yi Bufan is very likely to be related to Chen Yu's mysterious disappearance. When Chen Yu disappeared, Yi Bufan also mysteriously disappeared for half a month. Not long after he was seriously injured and returned to guard the general's mansion, news came that Chen Yu was missing. After that, Ximen Sheng visited the Chen family at night. If this person had nothing to do with Chen Yu's disappearance, it would be too much of a coincidence. Today, Han Yang killed people in the street and shocked Luo City, just to scare out this old fox who had been hiding in seclusion. You want to kill me, General? As the guarding general, Yi Bufan narrowed his eyes. He was extremely sensitive to murderous intent and was aware of Han Yang's murderous intent. Han Yang smiled lightly and said, as expected, you are the smiling tiger of Luo City, a well-informed old fox. Yes, I am going to take your head today. This sentence surprised Lin Wuyang on the side. If you kill a deputy general, you may be able to use a deadly vendetta to fend it off. The guard general is a serious 7th-grade military attaché who has been issued a golden book by the imperial court. If Han Yang really kills Yi Bufan, even if he is a peerless genius who understood the artistic conception at the age of 18, he will not be able to escape the court's accountability. You alone can kill this general. As expected of a general guarding one side, facing Han Yang's killing intent, Yi Bufan even had a smile on his face. Han Yang smiled and said, "You think I can't kill you, just relying on the skin on your body? What a pity, your skin will be peeled off soon." Han Yang's words made Yi Bufan frown. Originally, he was planning to join forces with Lin Wuyang to capture Han Yang and dig out his secrets. Unexpectedly, Lin Wuyang, who was at the 6th level of bone forging, was stunned instantly. Now, Han Yang's calmness made him feel uneasy that things were out of control. Before he could figure out how to respond, a group of people came galloping from the direction of the city lord's mansion. Yi Bufan, the garrison general of Luoqing City, colluded with monsters to frame Qinyu, the leader of the Luoqing clan, and ordered him to be captured immediately and escorted to the state capital for interrogation at a later date. The guards of the city lord's palace who came on horseback waved their arms and shouted loudly. The smile on Han Yang's face grew stronger. Sure enough, with the wisdom of Nan Lingshu as father, the city lord, he would never let go of such an opportunity to eradicate dissidents. It's true that Yi Bufan is an old fox, but starting from his involvement in the affairs of Luo City's powerful families, he crossed the line. As a city lord, I will never tolerate it. It's just that I didn't have the confidence to take action against Yi Bufan before. Now, Han Yang's sword is right in front of him. If the city lord doesn't know how to take advantage of this situation, then the city lord's efforts will be in vain. Yi Bufan suddenly changed his expression. You actually colluded with that old man. Han Yang smiled brightly. No wonder Yi Bufan, who has a genius like Xianxia from the Yuan sect, can't defeat the city lord. It turns out that he is defeated because of his superficial aura. At this time, what kind of collusion is needed? But just go with the flow. Yi Bufan, do you still remember what you said after my father-in-law disappeared? Han Yang's eyes were as sharp as a knife, staring at Yi Bufan. The latter couldn't help but change his expression. Of course he remembers. Han Yang chuckled and said, you ordered the Chen family to hand over my father-in-law's secret within 3 days. You are really powerful. If the city lord hadn't come forward, the Chen family might have fallen apart at that time. Today, I will return your 3-day agreement. Yi Bufan felt faintly uneasy, drew his sword in his hand, and said coldly, Han Yang, you can kill Xianxia. Do you really think you can become an enemy of the 6th level of bone forging? Don't seek death. There are 206 bones in the human body. If one bone is hammered, it counts as 1 level of bone forging. 2 bones forged. 4 bones, 3 levels of bone forging. By analogy, there are 5 levels of bone forging, 16 pieces of bones, 6 levels of bone forging, and 32 bones. The difference between the 6th level and the 5th level is only 1 realm, but the difference in the bones that are tempered is more than doubled. Therefore, Yi Bufan was not actually worried about losing at the hands of Han Yang. He was more afraid that the city lord would take the opportunity to take action. The first punch will give you 3 days of oppression, which will make everyone in the Chen family feel uneasy. Almost as soon as Yi Bufan finished speaking, Han Yang took action. It is still the great Sun Haoyang and Tiangang fist. Arrogant. Yi Bufan slashed out with his sword, and the shrill sound of breaking through the air could even tear the eardrums. On the body, 32 bones are connected together, shining with light. The terrifying pressure caused the war horses left behind by Xianxia to crawl on the ground and whine incessantly. Bang! The fists and swords intersected, making the sound of gold and iron. Han Yang was knocked back 7 or 8 steps, his face flushed, but Yi Bufan was also knocked back 3 steps. You! Feeling the energy surging in his body, Yi Bufan's expression changed drastically. The second punch is for you to unite with the Li family in Taichung and force Qin Qi and other elders to force Xiao Qian to marry outside. Han Yang's second punch was still as fast as lightning and unavoidable. Yi Bufan had to use his sword to meet the second punch. This time, Han Yang took 6 steps and Yi Bufan took 5 steps. You can actually detect my general's severely injured pulse. Yi Bufan's eyes were cracked and his heart was horrified. A year ago, he was seriously injured by Chen Yu. The injury has not recovered yet. Now he was completely detonated by Han Yang's 2 punches. The third punch, you let Xianxia visit the Chen family and disturb my sweet dreams. Yi Bufan's answer was Han Yang's third punch. Chapter 20 Who Dares to Fight? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Click. Yi Bufan could even clearly hear the sound of bones breaking in his body. 32 bones, the light dimmed instantly. Han Yang's punch completely detonated the injuries in his body. Puff. Yi Bufan spurted out a mouthful of blood, his breath disappeared, and he collapsed to the ground in despair. It's pitiful that a guard general with the 6th level of bone forging couldn't even catch Han Yang's 3 punches. Lin Wuyang's pupils suddenly shrank, and he secretly thought he was lucky. Originally, he was also planning to join forces with Yi Bufan to kill Han Yang. In the little Chen family, first came Chen Yu, a once-in-a-century genius, and then Han Yang. If you say that the Chen family has no secrets, no one will believe it. Lin Wuyang naturally wanted to dig out this secret from Han Yang, but out of fear of the smiling tiger Yi Bufan, he did not rush to take action. Instead, he wanted to sit back and watch the conflict between Yi Bufan and Han Yang. The conflict turned out to be a conflict, but the process made him feel like he had fallen into an ice cave. Han Yang was simply too strong. The first level of bone forging actually destroyed a 6th level bone forging with 3 punches. Even if this 6th level bone forging master was injured, he still had a shocking record. Are all young people today so tough? Today, defeating Yi Bufan with 3 punches, the anger of the past 3 years was vented with one move. Han Yang looked up to the sky and roared, "Today, I, Han Yang, have an appointment to fight in Luo City. Who dares to fight?" The passionate voice spreads in all directions. Han Yang's voice could be heard in half of Luo City, but at this moment, Luo City was like a deserted city. No one dared to answer the question. The 6th level of bone forging is already the strongest combat power in Luo City. When Han Yang defeated the guarding general Yi Bufan, the entire Luo City had been trampled under his feet. Nan Xiaofeng was shocked beyond measure. Who would have thought that the young man who was brought back to Luo City by Chen Yu 3 years ago and became the son-in-law of the Chen family would change from a hidden dragon in the abyss to a flying dragon in the sky after Chen Yu disappeared? After today, who dares to treat me as a son-in-law? 18 years old, fist in tension. The combination of these 2 words is the genius among geniuses and is synonymous with a promising future. Not to mention, this genius can defeat the 5th level of bone forging with 1 punch and the 6th level of bone forging with 3 punches. With such achievements, he is the top genius of the Yuan sect, but nothing more than that. Today, Han Yang is famous in Luo City. Master Han, your boxing skills are great. Lin Wuyang saluted with a smile on his face. It would be difficult for him, an old man in his 50s or 60s, to say flattering words to a young man. Nan Xiaofeng opened his mouth, but couldn't say a word. He was shocked to find that he did not have the courage to face Han Yang directly. This young man, with 3 punches, shattered his reserve and pride of the 5th level of bone forging. Facing such a young man, he could only bow his head humbly. Han Yang ignored the 2 of them and just waved to the guard of the city lord's palace, then picked up one of Yi Bufan's feet and walked to the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce. Seeing this scene, Nan Xiaofeng's heart almost burst. What do these mean? Aren't you going to let the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce go? What are you doing standing still? I want to hire a carriage. Doesn't your Chamber of Commerce do business? Han Yang turned around and glared at Nan Xiaofeng. Nan Xiaofeng, the bodyguard of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, had a sweet throat and almost spit out a mouthful of blood. After killing the young master of the Chamber of Commerce, he actually hired a carriage from the Chamber of Commerce. This Han Yang is simply a devil. After Han Yang and Nan Xiaofeng disappeared from the gate of Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, several figures appeared beside Lin Wuyang. Judging from their skills, they are all experts at the 4th level of bone forging. Your Majesty, are we going to let him go like this? A strong man from the Lin family looked unwilling. Lin Wuyang said coldly, want to take revenge? Look at the blood in front of the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, and then think about whether you are alive or not. You can take revenge. Several strong men from the Lin family looked over subconsciously, only then did they realize that from their feet to the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, there was a trail of blood trailing all the way to the entrance of the Chamber of Commerce. That's General Yi. Several strong men from the Lin family shuddered. The blood stains were clearly left by Yi Bufan. Han Yang really didn't show any dignity to the guarding General Yi Bufan, so he dragged him to the Hengshan Chamber of Commerce like a dog. In this man's eyes, there is no worldly power or pressure from the strong. We'd better not offend such an ungrateful person. Lin Wuyang turned around and left without any hesitation. Chen Yu, a man of extraordinary talent, once rose to prominence and became a powerful figure in Luo City, but the deterrence brought by Chen Yu is far less than that of Han Yang. What makes Han Yang strong is not his talent, but his mentality. Dynastic power and secular rule seem to be nothing in Han Yang's eyes. Lin Wuyang has never seen such a being in his half-life. When facing this kind of person, hide as far away as possible. If you don't avoid it, you will be the next Ximen Sheng, the next Yi Bufan, and become the stepping stone for Han Yang's rise. The entrance of Hengshan Chamber of Commerce, more than 20 waiters quickly cleaned the blood stains on the ground. The bodies of those killed in the Chamber of Commerce were also carried down for burial. If it weren't for the bloody smell in the air, all of this would seem like a dream, unreal. Who would have thought that not long ago, a battle occurred here that affected the distribution of power in Luo City. One is at the 6th level of bone forging, and the two are at the 5th level of bone forging, and they will stay here forever. Even though the city lord's palace issued a gag order, the news inevitably spread. The whole Luo City is talking about Han Yang and the Chen family. The son-in law of the Chen family is nothing but a blockbuster. Only 7 days after Chen Xiaoqian's disappearance, Han Yang rose to power and became a powerful figure in Luo City. This sudden change has made it difficult for many families in Luo City to adapt. As one of the parties involved, the Chen family was once again involved in the controversy. However, most of the words used about the Chen family are derogatory terms such as being ignorant, looking down on others, and returning home empty-handed. Having a real dragon like Han Yang but failing to grasp it is simply a failure among failures. The 4th elder and 5th elder were scolded even more. He had obviously bowed his head to Han Yang and was ready to welcome him back as the acting head of the family, but he gave up because he was afraid of the Lin family. It was in sharp contrast to the way Lin Wuyang, the supreme prince of the Lin family and the 6th level bone forging master, groveled in front of Han Yang. Even the younger generation of the Chen family looked at the two elders with resentment in their eyes. Originally, Han Yang could become a flag for the Chen family, allowing the Chen family to hold their heads high in front of all the family forces in Luo City, but now, it is the Chen family who has eyes for gold and jade and sends the real dragon away from the family. The Chen family has become the biggest joke in Luo City. Who is Mr. Han? Why does it feel like the members of the Chamber of Commerce are serving their ancestors? In the caravan heading to Taichung, some businessmen who didn't know the truth looked curiously at the most luxurious carriage at the center of the team. Not to mention anything else, just the 4 white horses without a hair on them made them unable to take their eyes away. If I'm not mistaken, those 4 jade lion horses are the vehicles of Deputy General Ximen Sheng, right? How did they end up in the hands of this person? Silence. Are we allowed to discuss such a big shot? Actually, it's good to have such a big shot following you. At least you won't be afraid of being attacked by monsters along the way. Han Yang, who went to Taichung, became the most special guest in the caravan.